Speaking up at work is extremely difficult to do, but is so powerful. And today I want to share with you the first time that I actually spoke up at a job and what that experience was like for me, in the hopes that it might speak to you, inspire you. I'm doing this video as a challenge to myself to practice my storytelling and getting more comfortable in front of the camera. So this video will be done in one take, no edits. That's already stressing me out, and I'll be posting more of these over the next couple of weeks. So let's talk. My whole life, I've always been somebody who spoke up for others, tried to help others, and I hated bullies. I tried to help those in trouble and as much as I could. Honestly, I was a child. But there's instances of that in my childhood and in my adolescence that show that that's kind of the person that I am. However, when I started working, that was a bit of a different experience for me. I didn't feel at the time that I actually could stand up and share my thoughts and feelings. In my early 20s, I want to say it was like my third maybe job after university. I was just do the job, keep your head down, garner respect, and, don't rock the boat. That's really what I was aiming for. Because although I had thoughts and opinions, I didn't feel like I could speak on them or that I really had a right to. That was until a certain meeting came up. So at my job, we used to have a team meeting every week, and it was to share about what different departments were doing and things to improve, so on and so forth. In this particular meeting, something happened. I'm not sure exactly of all the details, but there were two of my colleagues who I think made a mistake, and all of my other colleagues around the table kind of just jumped on them, started to berate them, to judge them, to make them feel, because they were sharing how they were feeling, but it made them feel less than. They didn't let my colleagues speak. And there was a manager present, but the manager just kind of let this happen. And you could visibly see my colleagues who were being berated, just getting like smaller and smaller in their chairs. And I was thinking to myself, this is not right. We should not be having conversations like this to address an issue. And my blood was boiling. I had so much building up inside of me, so much that I wanted to say. And I felt like I couldn't hold it in. And I wasn't sure at that point what I was going to do, because up to that point, I had never spoken up in any of my jobs. And at the end of that barrage of people really attacking those other two colleagues, my supervisor said, "Okay, guys, is there anything else anybody else wants to say? Because I don't want this to continue behind closed doors and to any animosity to continue." And I do not know what came over me, but I went, "I have a comment." And now it's been a couple years. I'm 31 now. So I'm going to give you the cliff notes of what I said. Basically, I said, "Hey guys, I know I'm not involved with this particular issue. It's a different department, but I want to share an insight with you because I am somewhat removed from the situation. So I might be seeing it different. I think it's really important that we do address issues when they come up and we discuss them in meetings. However, I don't feel that the way it was discussed today was very productive. It felt more like an attack than a conversation. And I think in the future, we should maybe work on how we communicate and really deal with these situations." So that's what I said in so many words. And everybody turned on me. It was like, "What'd you say?" And so then it was like, the comments I got were, this is just how business is. you need to grow a thicker skin. That one like really stuck with me. The idea of having to grow a thicker skin, even now, years later, it still like irks me because that's a comment that I get sometimes. You need to grow a thicker skin. It's just how business is, it's just, we have to deal with these things and we can't just not talk about them and so on. And I just responded, I understand, but there's ways to handle this and differently and more productively. And I kept my composure and the meeting ended and I ran. I ran to go see my old supervisor, who was my mentor at the time. And I said, oh my God, you're never going to believe what I just did. And I gave her the lowdown. I'm like, that's it. I'm fired. They're going to fire me. They're going to fire me. That was my biggest thing. They were going to fire me. If I didn't get fired, well, everybody's going to hate me because like, everybody's going to hate me. No one's going to respect me anymore. I have no thick skin. I'm like, I shot myself in the foot. And my supervisor, well, past supervisor, who was my mentor at the time, who had been working there for a long time, she was like, Emily, calm down. You're going to be okay. Get out there, tiger, and see what comes up. And I was like, okay. And you'll never believe what happened. Nothing. Nothing happened. I didn't get fired. Huzzah. And none of my colleagues really spoke about the issue. None of them treated me different. It was like nothing happened. The colleagues that I was standing up for did come and see me and thanked me for speaking up and for, addressing those issues. So I felt good about that. But this moment of my history taught me that you can speak up and your worst case scenario probably won't come true as long as you've, of course, shared your thoughts and opinions in a respectful and constructive way. And that, even if nothing were to happen, and a lot of times when I've spoken up, nothing really comes from it, it at least helps the people who I've advocated for. And it allows me to be proud of myself that I stood up and that I said something. And to trust my instincts that, when that was bubbling up and I was like, I have to say something, that I said, you know what, Emily, you do have to say something. And that I said it. And that's still a moment in my life that really, I think, was a stepping stone to who I am now. Without that experience, I don't know if I would be as outspoken now, as I have been in my businesses and now online. And I hope that this maybe inspires you to try maybe advocating or speaking up in your jobs, knowing that your worst case scenario probably won't come true. However, I do recognize that with some distance from the situation, I recognize that the way I naturally approach these advocacy things or speaking up or confrontations, I approach it in a certain way that I think is extremely constructive and is why I've gotten away with it and actually garnered more respect from my colleagues and my employers for being, I want to say like a little shit, like basically I'm a shit disturber. And it's maybe if you'd like me to share with you my insights of why I think, I'm able to share these things in meetings and online without too much backlash, I can share that with you. It's just my own interpretation of why I'm able to do so. So let me know in the comments if you'd like me to tell you what my secret formula is. It's not really secret, but still. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this little story time. It was really quick. I'm really working on trying to be better at telling stories, at being brief, and trying to be myself in these videos. So I hope you liked it, and I'll see you next time for next story time. And If you like this and you want to keep watching these videos, subscribe. All right. Bye.